Today on the farm, we're about to harvest organic sweet peas. I had this idea a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, for what I call perpetual harvest. And in perpetual harvest, I'm harvesting a crop 12 months out of the year. If you hadn't done the math, farmers get paid 1 or 2 months out of the year, and we work 12. And so you spend 10, 11 months working, not getting paid, and then 1 or 2 months getting paid for those crops that you've harvested in the fall. So my idea was to harvest a crop every month out of the year so I can get paid every month out of the year like a normal person. In order to do that, I had to start branching out and finding different crops that weren't typically grown in my area. And so I've not yet got to perpetual harvest, but I'm currently, this year we started planting in February. We'll finish planting in August. I've started harvest today. This is the first crop I'm going to harvest of the year. It is currently April the 14th, and I will finish harvesting this year the 3rd week of December. So I'm not yet at perpetual harvest, but if the good Lord wills it, I'm about 2 years out from harvesting 12 months out of the year. So this crop here is not typically grown in the southeast. This is a sweet pea. This particular variety is called Sweet Savor. I've been growing sweet peas now. This is my 3rd year, and so I've had to do a lot of research, try a lot of varieties, trying to figure out what would work and what wouldn't work. And there's been some pretty serious trial and error. This is going to be our best harvest yet. Got a good high yield. This pea is very sweet, very delicious pea. We've grown it organically. Didn't use any man-made fertilizers. Didn't spray any pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, nothing. No spray tracks in this field. No tractor's been out here since we planted them. This is totally God's work. It is completely organic. So you can feel pretty safe eating them. Like I said, you see me eating them right out of the field. They are delicious. Totally 100% organic sweet peas. We're picking these peas today with the Big Jack, Perpetual Big Jack. There's a little bit of trial and error. The field is not smooth. Out here is a little bit rough, so we're having to dial in the settings a little bit and try to get the maximum amount of peas without putting dirt in them. We put too much dirt in them, we can't clean it out. But if we pick the head up high enough, we'll miss peas. So we gotta find that fine line to get it low enough to get the maximum amount of peas, not too low so they're not putting dirt in them. Behind the machine back here, you see the vines are stripped. You got a few peas on the ground. We can't get them all. The problem we're having here is the vines are too short and the ground's not perfectly flat. There's real deep sand here, so we couldn't get the ground. We didn't get satisfactory packed when we prepared and planted. There's a little bit of unevenness to the ground. And so if we get the header low enough to get all these peas in this low spot, then we're picking up all this dirt in the high spot. You don't want dirt in your peas, and I don't want to put dirt in your peas. So we're having to leave behind peas in the low spot because of the dirt in the high spot. So we're losing some yield here. We also didn't get a perfect stand. We got about 75% stand. If we'd had a fuller stand and a flatter ground, it would increase our yield. This is my first year working any sand. I work red clay. This obviously is on a farm 2 counties south of mine. I've co-opted with another farmer down here to grow this crop on his land. And I'm not an expert on sandy dirt at all. But we have learned a lot. The key with every crop is to learn more than you knew last time. And we are getting an education out here today. We are getting a good harvest so far, and maybe we can knock it out this afternoon. The way the Big Jack works, you got some fingers that are stripping the peas off the vines. You have a large fan in there. When you suck up any dirt or the vines, the leaves get pulled off of the vines, all the extra material that's not peas, they blow out the side by this fan. That's a cleaning fan. It's throwing out the vines, throwing out the leaves, all the peas. up on that conveyor going to the hopper. It stripped all the peas off of it. There's a couple of pods on there that are busted open and there's no pea in them, but mainly just a lot of tentacles and leaves, not a lot of pods on that stuff that's throwing out the side. Our goal for next year is put a little more P and a little more K up under these, get the plants up a little bit taller. We had sufficient rainfall this year. Maybe a little nutrition starved here is maybe get them a little bit taller next year and run a coil-to-packer ahead of the planter possibly to get the ground just packed down and firm. Really need to firm it up pretty good so that the drill, you can see the tire tracks from the tractor that was pulling the drill. So if we firm these beds up a little bit, maybe we can eliminate those ridges and leave a little bit smoother ground out here, and that will facilitate a better harvest. We won't have to deal with the unevenness. We got a good yield. We figured that out. We figured out our varieties as far as heat tolerance goes and what works in the south down here, but we got to get them a little bit taller next year, and we got to get a little bit firmer seed bed. So we're still making progress out here. These sweet peas aren't like peanuts or corn. You know, peanuts, we say 130 days, depending on variety. Some varieties we do 150 days. And a lot of crops have a set number of days that they are roughly mature in. Peas are a little bit different. These have heat units. So this particular variety requires 1,390 heat units, almost 1,400 heat units. A heat unit's calculated by the temperature, accrued temperature that it has experienced. So for example, if you planted these and it was 70 degrees every day, they would get ready a lot quicker than they would if it was 40 degrees because they're accumulating more heat units. The trick to growing these peas out here in the south, these sweet peas, is that it gets too hot. So we can plant them in January or February, and it can some years get too hot enough to kill them or scald them before they mature. Now I know they're acquiring heat units the whole time, so it's not that they'll just get ready sooner. They can get too much heat on them. And it will scald them. We have a lot of blistering sun. I've had mine in some years prior get a silver tinge to them where the sun has scalded them, and they've that 90 degrees has hurts them. So they really don't like it, in my experience. The varieties you grow may be different, but in my experience down here, the varieties I've tried, they don't like the temperature to break 80. So we need to plant them when the ground is warm enough to germ them, which in January, that may take, around here, may take 10 days, may take 20 days, 10 to 20 days to get them germed. And then we're off to the races, hoping that our first heat front comes through late. This time 2 years ago, we were already in the 90s in April. This year has been a very mild year. This is one of the coolest or one of the mildest years. There has been strong cold weather, but we've not had much heat at all. This is the mildest spring probably of my 42 years being on Earth. Had a real mild spring here, so heads up on the global warming not happening in South Georgia. So really cool spring, and the peas have took a very long time to mature. They are right around 70 days right now, 65, 70 days. A lot of these varieties mature in 55 to 60. Something a little bit different today. Y'all have seen me shell southern peas with my continuous flow Thompson pea sheller, but today we're going to shell these sweet peas with it. It's the first time I've ever run sweet peas through the continuous flow. 5, 11, good, great. 10 and 6 pounds. that drum, and those paddles in the middle of the drum spinning. Those paddles are in that center spinning really fast, and they're hitting the holes, and they're breaking the holes open. That's making the peas fall out, and they fall on those holes in the outside of the drum and make their way through the trough. This is an example. We got holes, got a screen here where the peas can fall through, but the holes can't. Right here. That's just how fast the peas come out of that vibrator. I'll dial that in, I adjust my air pressure. I can change the amount of wind blowing through here so that I can get my peas pretty clean. I'm not losing any. I hear all that's trash coming out of the peas. I'll keep speeding my air up a little bit, opening this baffle. So I see a pea every now and then going in the trash. That's just by getting as much trash out as possible. I'll slow the speed down. If more peas going across there than it can clean, it'll let a little hole go in there like this. So I'll slow my speed down just a little bit, back it off, get it set up just right, and then it'll clean these peas good enough to eat. It's day 2 on shelling the peas. We come in here last night after dark, started shelling. Now it's the next morning. The ones that weren't shelled last night, we shelled on into the night pretty late. But the ones that weren't shelled had air pushed across them all night with fans. That dries them, the holes down a little bit. That makes them where they actually shell a little bit easier. Got the conveyor rigged up this morning going. It's slow feeding. It's important that the conveyor has small steps on it. The lips are really small. That way it don't take too many peas at one time. If it takes too many, it stops the machine up. So it's just taking a little handful at a time, dumping up here in the drum. I'm in our cold storage now. I have walk-in cooler. You can see the end product packaged up in here. We got a decent yield. This is my 3rd year growing sweet peas. Well, this is my best yielding year. We're still not quite where we want to be on yield, but we're getting close. It has been a learning process. Every year I've learned a little more each year with the sweet peas, and we're getting there. Maybe in a year or 2 before we got it really super down pat, but it has come a long way in a short period of time. I thank all of y'all for watching the sweet pea harvest start to finish. If you didn't see the planting, move back about 2 months. You'll see us planting those sweet peas. If you hadn't seen this thing yet, I picked it up from the Fort Gaines Historical Society. I'm doing a restoration on it. There's a short or 2 out on it. There was a video that none of y'all saw on it because it got deleted instead of uploaded, but there's another video coming of a full restoration of a 1917 Fordson tractor, the first tractor in Clay County, Georgia. I thank all y'all for watching. Hope to see you next time.